Alright, so what's poppin', everybody? It's your man, Young Ida Costello, back again with another video. Now this video is going to be another album review, and today's album that I had to review today is The Weeknd, Starboy. Now let me go right ahead and say this right off the bat. When it comes to The Weeknd, coming into this album, I was not a fan of The Weeknd at all. Like, he was featured on some Wiz Khalifa songs. He was featured on a lot of Wiz Khalifa songs. And I was like, I really don't like this guy's music. And then I heard snippets of his mixtapes, and I just wasn't feeling it. I didn't like it at all. But last year, when he dropped that song, I Can't Feel My Face, I thought that song was fire. I thought that song was dope. So then when I realized that this new Weeknd album dropped, I said, you know what? Why don't you just give it a chance? And I will say that coming into this album, I was pleasantly surprised with what I heard. Now the start of this album is super dope. I feel like this album starts completely fire. It starts up and it's real cinematic. You hear the beats bumping in the background. It goes boom, 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 and then all of a sudden you start hearing him sing. But he's singing over like this kind of like emotional cinematic beat, almost like it's the start of a movie, and it's going over really well. Then as the song continues to play, he harmonizes his notes, his chords, his voice is really good on this album, and that's something that I really like. As far as the production, as far as the beats, it kind of goes here and there. Like he'll go from like a trap influenced beat, and then out of nowhere switch into like a jazz groove beat, and then switch into like a Michael Jackson style beat. He definitely shows a lot of diversity when it comes to the amount of production that he picks up. Now as for features on this album has a good amount of features on it. It has a Lana Del Rey feature, there's a Future feature, there's a Kendrick Lamar feature, and there's also a Daft Punk feature. Now as far as the Lana Del Rey feature, that was probably the one song that I didn't really like on this album, just because Lana Del Rey's voice is like real hit and miss for me. Her voice is real off and on, and I will say that her voice did not do its job on this album. Now as far as the Kendrick Lamar feature, he had a feature and he also had a verse on the song Sidewalks, and I will say that his verse was good. His verse met the song perfectly. He didn't kill it like he normally kills it. It was still a solid verse. It was a good verse. It was just a cool verse just to have as a feature. But you know who did kill it though? Two people killed it on this album that were featured. Daft Punk killed it. Like, you already know Daft Punk's gonna bring it. And Future killed it. On the second half of All I Know, when Future comes in and the song is kind of building up kind of cinematically, and then all of a sudden the bass just drops and then Future just starts rapping, I think that was a dope way to end that song. And as far as the Daft Punk feature, Daft Punk is just Daft Punk. It's not just vocals and it's not just notes that Daft Punk is gonna give to you. Daft Punk is pretty much going to help you produce your song. They're pretty much going to give you pointers throughout your whole album. They're going to sprinkle a little bit here. They're going to sprinkle a little bit there just to make your project that much better. And I feel like their hand on this project definitely made it a lot better. Now, as far as some of my favorite songs on this album, all right, come on, fam. Like, you definitely got to give it to Starboy. You got to give it to Reminder. But my definite favorite song on this The Weeknd album is True Colors. Now the song True Colors kind of reminds me of a Michael Jackson song in the way of how it's slow and it's slow moving, and then The Weeknd has like this high voice going over a slow 90s type beat, and I thought that was really cool. The beat on this is probably the best beat on this whole album. It's moody, it's kind of emotional a little bit. It's just a dope beat. But then we go into the song Reminder, which is also a super dope song in my opinion. I'm gonna keep it real. We get hit with a little bit of struggle bars here and there when this man says, I got an Asian chick, she go low main. We definitely got some struggle bars there, but in my opinion, it doesn't take away from the song at all. But as far as this album, I do feel like this album starts off really good and it ends off really fantastically. It's kind of just in the middle where it kind of just droops down just a little bit. It's kind of the problem with that Schoolboy Q album. It was just a lot of filler. There is a lot of filler in this album. But a good thing with this album is that even though it contains filler, the filler isn't bad. It's just not exactly memorable. Like, it's not exactly horrible to where I'll play this album and want to skip through every single filler song. It's kind of to the point where the album will play, or let's just say I got my phone on shuffle and maybe one of the filler tracks will come on and I'll just leave it on just because it's just a cool song. So that's probably one of my only gripes about this album. Number one, that Lana Del Rey feature. As a matter of fact, that whole song was just trash in my opinion. And it's just a little bit of the filler tracks. I feel like you should just make it just a little bit more concise, to the point, maybe 10 or 11 songs. But I like short albums in general because like it's like a pre-little package here. Like it's a little package deal. I do feel that The Weeknd during this album, like he kind of goes from being like vulnerable to to being like real player and real hard on thoughts like real quick. Like he kind of switches between the two like that. And like in most of these songs, the girls that this man goes after is just like the drunk kind. I mean, the Weeknd, like dude, like you're the Weeknd. I mean, like I'm sure you can do a lot better than that, fam. Like you don't need to save these people. Go to Starbucks, go to Barney's, go to, I don't know, Louis Vuitton. I'm sure you can find, go to Paris. I'm sure you can find better people, man. Get out the club. But with all that in mind, I do think that The Weeknd delivered a really good album. I thought that it was really cool. I thought that it was really dope. There are moments where it was really groovy and really like jump up and down, kind of dance to. And then there's moments where he goes trapped and fused, and then you kind of feel like you're listening to like a DS2 Future tape. And then there's moments where you feel like you're listening to like Michael Jackson's Shimon. Like it really can take you from here or there. And that's one thing that I really like about this album. And I will say that the album is really consistent from start to finish. It's really consistent with good songs, except for that Lana Del Rey track. Not feeling that at all. This album does contain some filler tracks, but the filler tracks aren't horrible, and the filler tracks won't take you away from the main meat of the project. So, you know, I was pleasantly surprised. I thought that he delivered. So, if I was to grade this The Weeknd album, I would have to give it a strong 8. I feel like he deserved it. The production on this thing was fantastic. I feel like he was real slim with the features and real nitpicky with the features, and I like the way that he was real nitpicky with the features. He had everybody play a specific role on it, so nobody was really doing too much. Even Lana Del Rey, even though her voice was horrible, I still think that he didn't do too much, and in my opinion, that made for a great album. But without further ado, that is the end of this video. How do you guys like this album? Do you guys like it? Did you hate it? Did you think it was some trash? If so, put that in the comment section down below. Like always, I got more videos coming soon, more reviews coming soon. Hold up, please check out the second channel because your boy got the skits, got the 2K videos, got the game videos, got the GTA videos. You want it, I got it on that second channel, so check that out over there. But without further ado, I just gotta say, hey, blessings, 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 and yeah, Chris